Alright guys, let's create a C++ application that will convert meters to feet and then feet to meters. And it'll use 3 different functions, plus it will have a simple algorithm of us like telling it how to do it. But before that, it'll be very good if you subscribe and make this 300 to 400 or something like that. Or don't, doesn't matter. I'll still make the videos. The first thing we need to do is make 2 different files. One for help.cpp, which will hold our whole program, and then another one just like an algorithm.txt, which will hold our recipe or our algorithm. It means the algorithm is a very simple instructions for given into an app in order for it to complete a task. Algorithms can be very simple, like when we do here, or it will be super complicated, like it could solve the unsolvable math problems or something like that. Just doesn't matter. We'll learn by easy, because I don't know algorithms either. So we'll just start from super easy. All right, guys. First thing we need to do is for our program to have an intro. This will be an intro message that will be given when you run the program, which is super easy. I mean, every program has to have an intro. Some of the programs that doesn't have intro, they're just like so kind of weird-ish, you know, but doesn't matter. For us, we're just gonna be good with the intro. All right, once you did that, the second thing is create a main function, headers, and then after the headers or the libraries, include the libraries. After that, we need to add the main function, and then we need to add the feet to meters, and then another function, meters to feet. Oh, by the way, we can do this all in one main function, but that wouldn't be nicer, you know. Our professor for our intro to computer science class, he would just get so angry whenever we do something like that, because the main function is just for simple input-output stuff. All right, so this will be our algorithm, and then we can add, for example, like here stuff as we go through it. But for example, the main will have ask for our input, which will be for our choices, and then this will you know, it's like a super easy application, so let's just stick with that one. This will be our blueprint. Now the first thing we need to do is have headers before intro, of course, that's important. Include our IO stream. Okay, once we did that, then we have to do using namespace std. This will make our like the C out or CN or this kind of stuff very easy, like without having any problem. If we don't do that, then we will have to write the std : with every single of cout or cin commands. But this, using standard namespace, it'll just make it super easier. You just don't have to write the std every time you write cout or indel or anything like that. All right, the first thing we need to do is create a main function, as we stated in our algorithm. All right, now we need to have instructions here, but we don't have anything here, right? So we'll just scroll down and create another function for feet to meters. Okay, now feet to meters, we can create different kind of functions, like an integer, string, double, or any kind of function, right? But for this video, we will use string. And now you might think, okay, string is a stupid choice to actually make this video, but I'll show you why. And then if you have different options, you can just show me that later. All right, so my reason is this, that you will see at the end. We will create a string, and then we will call it feet m, which means feet to meters. All right, and then we'll create this function. Once we did this, now we cannot only have this function, right? We can just we have to have like a variable, kind of like a changing data. So we need to have a data coming into here, instead of like just having hard-coded stuff. Like we can just hard-code this and tell it, like, for example, always change 10 meters to feet, or always change 10 feet to meters or something like that, right? But that's not fine. That's just simple basic calculating. We need to have a function that will actually take input from user and then convert that, for example, from feet to meters or meters to feet, which will be nicer compared to just like having a hard-coded stuff like a sentence. Just, I mean, we can just calculate that the first time and then we will just see out the same thing. So we don't want to do that. We need to have a parameter here. We will call this parameter called, now from feet to meters, what will be our parameter here? What kind of value will the user give to the program in order for it to change it to meters? Of course, feet, right? Sorry, not meters. Or because we changed feet to meters. All right. So now when we did that, we have to create another function called where are you going there, big guy? String, and then we call it meter. Whoa. Meter to feet. And then as the same one as we did above, but here instead of feet we give meters, because the user will put meters and it will change it to foot, feet, foot, feet, of course, feet. All right, now we come back here and then we write we initialize variables. Now what's our first variable? I mean the one and only variable, or two, something like that. We need to have a standard for meters, you know, for meter. How much is 1 meter? 1 meter is to feet. 1 meter to feet is about 0.3048, something like that. So 1 feet is about 0.3 meters, something like that. But now when we did that, we cannot initialize this as int because of what? The points, and after the points. We can initialize this as a float, but we want it as a double. Okay, once we did that, then we have to have another double, because when you want to work on doubles, you have to have another double, and then we will call that total. And as you might guess, total would be feet times meter. Perfect. So now this will do is it'll take the input from the users, the feet, that to convert it to meters using multiplying or the product rule of feet times meters. All right. Okay. Once we did that, now we have to show users back this data. So we will tell user that this many feet that you given are, or this many feet that you given for the computer to process to meters are, and then we'll just give it a space, and then we'll just use a semicolon. You know why I give it a semicolon instead of a indel like the ending new line? Because you will see now, because we need to see out and all right. So if we just see out total, you know what will happen? We will just get this random number with like many digits after the point. We don't want that. We want a simple program. So we need to add a new header, a new library called the input output manipulation IP, main IP, something like that. Manipulation, yes, manipulation. Okay, that, and then we need to use, for example, like some keywords from that. For here we'll use fixed, which means that the output will be fixed to some specific digits, and then we'll get how many digits. Well, it will be fixed to how many digits. Then we will say set precision to how many. Let's just say 3. After the dot, we will have just 3 digits. All right, and then we'll have two open things to the right. I don't know what's that called. And then we will call this total, because we have the total here, the variable. Now we can just indel this one and then go to a new line, but we don't want to do that. Now we will create a new string here, and we will name it A. This is exactly why I created string instead of that. Now we will call it meters. Okay, now who can tell me why I did this instead of for example just writing the meters here? I'll tell you, because when we have this function return, we need to return a value. Now we cannot return, for example, feet again, because if you do that, then it'll have like the long numbers. So instead of that, we just added a new string and we just call it return A. Now what it will do is it will return this statement like this many feet or to meters are in this, let's say this much, and then instead of just sort of saying this number, it will say meters at the end instead of like having anything again. It's a pretty good one, and it's a creative, you know. Now we need to create another function, add stuff to this function, and then as you might have guessed it, we need to first create a double variable, and then we can just call it feet, because we want to change meters to feet, right? Now how much is 1 meter in feet? It's about 3.280. 3.280 feet is 1 meter. Perfect. Okay, when we did that, we come to a new line, and then we call another double, and then we call make a new total. You can create same name variables in different function, it's okay, but you cannot create it in one function. here. For example, I created total here and then I get total here too. Now the user input, which is in meter, times the feet, which is our standard variable. All right, now we just copy this one just to make it easier, and then just paste it here, and then we just say, instead of feet, we just say meter, and then we say meters to feet, or set precision total feet. Perfection. See, I'm a perfectionist, you know, but don't worry about that. Now we create, all right, so once we're done with these two functions, right, now we create our main function. Okay, now we come back to our algorithm here, and then in our main function we need to ask for the user input. For first we have to have this intro here. Now what kind of intro you might ask? We will just add a simple intro which will say just welcome to heaven, where the most, okay, let's just say, no, we will not say anything right now. You know why? Because we just first need to create choices for user. We will create a new integer for choice because it will be just a number, and then we will create another variable called feet, and this will ask in feet or whatever the user will ask, right? And then we need to create another variable called meter, and then we kill another variable called exit. Now this exit is 0 for now, but you just wait with me. This is, you might ask why is this here, but you just wait and then you will see why. It's not needed, of course, but not now, but then you will see why later. Now we can create we can go many ways from here. We can just call the functions and then just see out it, or we can go, for example, like an if loop, and then if user was choose that and stuff, or we can say a for loop, or I don't think a for loop will work here, but still, I mean, we can make a way to make that work. But instead of doing that, let's just make it easier and just say a while loop, because we want the program to run. We just do not depend on a specific case, right? We just want the program to run like ultimately endlessly, and then until the user stops it. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to create a while loop. A while loop will run until forever, and then while true. Okay, now once we did that, now anything inside here, it'll run forever until the user asks it to stop. We need to create our what? Our dearest intro. Okay, so now we will just see out welcome to the most advanced calculator. No, feet to meter and meter. Let's just create a new line, and meter to feet calculator. Haha, it's a calculator, guys. There was a time that I didn't know how to make a calculator, so it was pretty advanced for me, if you know what I mean. And then let's just give it a new line, so if there's like the output from before, it'll just go to the new line. It's a good practice. And then we create the options for user, for example, which one to choose or choose not. But since we know our user will be not knowing what to do, so we just ask them choose an option. And then if you see here, I did \t. It means for the tab. It means like give 4 spaces after this line, which is good for formatting. And then choose an option, and then colon, and then we'll just give it an end, meaning end of line. And then we'll see it another one, and then we'll give it 2 tabs this time, just so the output can go a little farther from here. Instead of like coming straight back here, it'll go from like start from here. It's a good thing too. We'll give it, the first choice is feet to meters, then we'll give it the second choice, and then we'll just say 2, and then we'll call it meters to feet. And then we'll just another application call, another cout statement called 3, and then exit. Well, for exit, I don't think there's a good thing. Okay, let's just write it. Okay, this will be our what? Our intro. Of course, it's not the most like perfect intro, but it works. Let's just try and see if it's actually look good. G++ app.cpp. Whoa, you know why this goes forever? Who will answer this question? I will answer. Because we says while true, just run this forever, and it'll go until the computer runs out of RAM, and then it'll stop unless we stop it ourselves. All right, once we did that, then we create something called a switch statement. Switch statement is better because it'll just see and just go for the case by case, and then we will say choice, which means choice of user, which still we haven't asked for, like we still haven't asked the user for the choice. So just before our last statement, we just write here CIN choice. Now this will ask the user for choice. Now case one, let's just make case one as the one, since we have here one, right? Let's just write case one, and then we just write the code here. The code will be just simple. Please enter, for example, like let's just case one is what, feet to meters. Please enter feet that you want in meters. Now the user will put feet here, and then how will they put here? We will just call it CIN, another input, and then CIN, and then we will call this one what, the feet. Perfect. Okay, now the user will put this input. Now you might ask, where will the input go? Now the input would go here. You just see out, and then see out what, function of feet m. We call this feet m, right? Oh, okay. So if you see here, it's not giving me the auto completion or anything. You know why? Because of this thing. You cannot have functions below the main functions that are not like declared above the main function. You can have it declared above the main function, and you don't have to do this thing. But if you have it below the main function, then you just have to just copy the name and the parameter, and then just put it here. It's good. And then we did that, and then what's our function name? Feet m, and then we will just write foot, the input that the user just given. All right, we did that, and then we will just say cout in DL just to make a new line, and then we already have the break. Okay, we have to, after with that, we come here and then we create case number 2. What if a user enters meters to feet? For that, you'll have the whole same thing from here to here with only one difference. That'll be please enter meters that you want in feet, and then our function, our input will be what, meter, and then our function will be called meter f, because of here meter f, and then our parameter will be what, guess meter, and then we'll have just a new line, and then we'll have that. Now we need to have a case 3. What case 3 will do is this will make the function to, you know, like the exit statement. We can call default 2 or other 2, but case 3 should be fine. Or we don't even need case 3, just default. Let's just make it default. For default, as I said before, we need the exit to make it to 1. Exit equal 1. Once exit is equal 1, or before that, we just say, let's just say exiting. Dot 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 dot. Okay, once we did that, and then we come up here, and then before the loop, we just say if exiting, if exit equal 1, break. What this will do is this will break the whole loop. If exit is equal 1, right now our exit is what? It's equal 1. But if we put any option other than 2 or 1, this will break our loop. Let's just try it. Alright, our program is basically done. Let's just run in debug if you have any issue here. Wow, without any error. Let's just see. Perfect. You see here, welcome to the most advanced calculator, advanced feet to meter and meter to feet calculator. Choose an option. Number 1, feet to meter, and then number 2, meters to feet. Number 3 is exit. Let's just say 3. You see here it's exiting. Oh yeah, if you see here it doesn't have the indel statement, so let's just give it the just one in. Okay, and then let's just recompile the application and make the application running at number 3. Perfect. See here, go to the new line. Let's run it again and give it, for example, k. Yep, you know what this default does? If anything, like any input from the user without 2 or 1 will just break the loop. Fantastic. Okay, now our default case works. Let's try our number 1 case. Okay, please enter feet you want in meters. I want 1 feet in meter. Okay, now 1 feet into meters are 0.31. It looks like it works. Let me see what is our, okay, 0.35. You see here, so when we give it this 3, right, it will round up the letter to the nearest, like for example, if it's 0.354548, it'll just round it up to 1 to 9 and 10, and then it'll become 5. If you see here, 3.05. Let's give it, for example, 100 feet, or let's just say 300 feet to meters. Now 300 feet is 91 meters. Perfect. Okay, so that works too. Let's just give it meters to feet. For example, I want 1000 meters to see 1000 meters is about 3,800 and something. Now let's see if it's actually true. Let's just Siri. Siri, what is 1000 meters to feet?
That would be 3,280.84 feet.
Fantastic. It means our program works, and nice job. So this is our program. Okay, if you needed the source code or anything for the algorithm, the most advanced algorithm of the history, I'll put it in my GitHub. It'll be here. Let me see. No, not here. Sorry. Okay, so I will just create a new here. I already have it here. Okay, I will let it here. Wow, it's empty. Fantastic. Doesn't matter. I will put it in here, and then you can copy it or do whatever you want with it. Thank you for watching. I know it's a long video, but it was worth it, actually. I mean, sure.